Brother got my wife pregnant and now wants my $2 million inheritance. Growing up, my brother and I had a complicated relationship. From the outside, it seemed like everything was fine, but in reality, we were worlds apart. He was always the golden child, the one our parents favored. He could do no wrong in their eyes. Meanwhile, I was the one who always had to work harder for everything. Whether it was in school, with our parents' attention, or even in friendships, I felt overlooked and undervalued. He'd steal my things, get me into trouble, and make my life miserable, yet somehow, it was always my fault when things went wrong. I learned early on to keep my distance and focus on my own life, even though it hurt to see how easily he got away with everything. But nothing could have prepared me for what happened a few years ago. It felt like a punch to the gut when I discovered that my brother had been having an affair with my wife. The same brother who I had always tried to avoid, the same one who had been making my life hell, had crossed the line in the most unforgivable way. My wife, the person I thought I could trust, had betrayed me too. She ended up pregnant and it all came crashing down. The pain was unbearable. I couldn't even look at my brother without feeling pure hatred, and the divorce was even worse than I could have imagined. The emotional toll it took on me was immense. I was left heartbroken, with nothing but the pieces of my shattered life. I walked away from the wreckage, just trying to salvage what little dignity I had left, but my brother seemed unaffected. He continued on as if nothing had changed. The worst part was that my parents, who I had always hoped would see things from my perspective, took his side. They were so blinded by their love for him that they couldn't see the damage he had caused. They defended him, brushed off his mistakes, and gave him chance after chance. I was left to pick up the pieces of my broken life alone. But that all changed this year when things took a turn I didn't expect. My parents finally had enough. They discovered the full extent of his actions, the affair, the lies, his mounting debts, and to my shock, they disowned him. The man they had always stood by was no longer welcome in their lives. As if that wasn't enough of a twist, I was named as the sole beneficiary in their will. All their money, their estate, the $2 million inheritance, everything was left to me. I never imagined that would happen, especially given the tension with my family, but in a strange way, it felt like a form of justice. I thought that would be the end of it. I thought I'd move on, take the inheritance, and live my life without ever having to deal with my brother again. But then, just a few days ago, I received a call from him. My brother was begging for help. He was homeless, broke, and had nowhere to turn. His life had completely fallen apart, and now he was looking to me for a lifeline. He said he had changed, that he was sorry for everything he had done, and that he regretted his actions. He wanted to make amends and hoped I could help him get back on his feet. It was a bombshell. How could he even think I'd want to help him? After everything he did to me, after the affair, the betrayal, and the pain he caused, how could he expect anything from me? But then I started to feel guilty. I had the money now, $2 million that could change his life if I chose to help him. I kept going back and forth in my mind, torn between the anger I felt and the person I wanted to be. Part of me wanted to tell him to go to hell, to let him suffer the consequences of his actions. He deserved to learn the hard way. But another part of me couldn't help but wonder if I should try to be the bigger person. If I could somehow forgive him, if I could give him a chance to make things right, maybe I would feel at peace with myself. But I also knew that opening this door could lead to more manipulation, more drama. If I helped him, what would that mean for my future? What if he just used me again like he always had? The decision weighed on me more heavily than I ever expected. Should I give him the help he's asking for, or should I let him face the consequences of his own actions? Would I be enabling him, or would I be showing mercy? My mind was clouded with confusion, and I wasn't sure which path was the right one. If I turned him away, I would have to live with the guilt of knowing I turned away family in need. But if I helped him, I risked opening up old wounds, possibly damaging any chance of peace in my life. I'm not sure what to do, but I do know this. My brother has destroyed my trust, and it's hard to imagine ever seeing him the same way again. I guess the real question is, can you ever forgive someone who's hurt you this much? And if you do, what do you risk by letting them back into your life?